I've got my little notes here. I've got my stuff. What are we recording today? Okay, so where is the line with fan fiction? We've got incest, abuse, rape, dubious consent. These are horrible. Don't smile while saying them. What are we allowed to write? Isn't that a question? I don't even know where to start with this. Let's make a list. Let's make a list. Hey guys, so I ended up spending a few days researching this topic and just looking up as much information as I possibly could to just provide the best answer I possibly could. And so something I found on Tumblr was this post from Californiannostalgia, and they wrote, "It occurred to me that part of the reason why I search for hurt/comfort fics with a lot of pain before it gets better might be because I need the protagonist to have been subjected to enough pain so it is inarguable that they're going to be messed up and need care. I don't know. Maybe my gaslighting makes me seek out a protagonist who has suffered enough to be allowed, without question, to be up. Maybe a part of me is comforted knowing that however many terrible things happen to the protagonist, they will manage to heal and have a happy ending." And I think that was an amazing, sorry, my chair noise, but I think that was an amazing noise. How did noise get in there? I think that response really did capture the point I'm about to make. Sometimes when you're reading fics that happen to have rape or assault or any kind of pain, it's not necessarily that the writer is trying to glamorize that pain or idealize or romanticize. It's sometimes it's none of those things. Sometimes by capturing pain that a character is feeling, it gives readers permission to feel that pain. Does that make sense? Well, I mean, I think it makes sense, yeah. So if you're reading about a character going through trauma that you've experienced and you haven't necessarily given yourself permission to feel those emotions, sometimes you can more easily feel it for that character. So sometimes when someone's been gaslit, when they've been told repeatedly that the way they've experienced something isn't true and that the way they're feeling isn't valid, when they can see that in a character feeling that pain and they're no, it's wrong that they've experienced that, sometimes it's easier to be and it's wrong that I experienced that too. Sometimes writers are writing out experiences kind of like catharsis. You never know if writing out pain, writing out depression, writing out anxiety, writing out whatever they may be feeling is allowing them to get those feelings out of themselves, to put it somewhere else, to put it somewhere external that they can more easily now heal from internally, now that it's no longer just sitting inside of them. And so yeah, I guess it really depends on where does the writer draw that line. And something else that's important is that just because a character in a work is romanticizing pain doesn't necessarily reflect on the writer feeling that. So sometimes a character could, let's say a writer has a main character who is really evil, and they're acting out all these horrible things towards other people and portraying ideas that are really just toxic. That doesn't necessarily mean that the writer feels that way. That could just be a reflection of somebody in the real world who treated the writer that way, or who treated another person that way and the writer saw it, or their own imagination of how certain people may be who they've heard of. You like never know where the writer may have gotten inspiration from that. So you have to know, is the writer supporting an idea in a work, or are they presenting it in which it will later be kind of criticized or like unpacked? So yeah. But there is an instance where a writer can be kind of playing devil's advocate and like putting something in their work and saying, oh no, I don't think that way, it's just Bob in my book who thinks that way. And it's like, no, I think you're saying you're playing devil's advocate because you want to say this, but you know people won't support you for saying that, so you're trying to say it in a different way. So it's definitely like this back and forth, like you never really know. You really never know, but I guess you kind of just have to trust your own instinct. When you read a work, does it seem like the character is saying something or doing something, or does it seem like the writer is using the character like a puppet to like orchestrate their own stuff, you know? So yeah, I guess trust your instinct and like believe yourself. If something is triggering you and you don't feel like it's just it's just the character, if you feel like there's an agenda behind this work, and you can definitely feel when there's an agenda behind some work, then you know, trust yourself. But I guess ask questions, use the comments, you know, see how the writer responds, and kind of go from there. Before I close, I would like to show you guys an example of a writer putting stuff in a work and using the character, and I don't believe it was just the character.
익숙하겠지 또다시 감기처럼 뜨거린 밀려드는 제비째 수없이 지나쳐도 여전히 잠만해야 해 지나갈 테니 잠깐이면 돼 지나갈